All right, welcome back everybody. Thank you for visiting. Today I'm going to be unboxing. This gentleman's name is Belphegorr. He is from the faction, the Legion of Arethyr, the god Arethyr. We've got a bio for him on the side here. You can check that out. Pause the screen and check that out. Give you a closer look while he's in the package, right? Because there's nothing like that packaged toy vibe. Some beautiful artwork on the back featuring the god Arethyr, who I have yet to unbox. I am going to get to him. I'm procrastinating because he's just gorgeous in that box like they all are. And just check out this dude's mean presence. That head sculpt is absolutely ferocious. Can't wait to check that out closer. And he's got some open hands. I believe he comes with additional hands in the package. So yeah, let's go ahead and unbox this gentleman. All right, out the box and ready to rock. I've got Belphegorr in a very cool stance, as if he was taking a b-boy pose at some point in the 80s or 90s or even today. He is a really awesome figure. If you have any Mythic Legions or if you don't, I will share that they have really great articulation. As you're going to see from a lot of the poses that I'm going to put him in, they're very artistic, they're very emotive, especially because of how well designed the head sculpt is. Like, that thing is absolutely amazing. We're going to take a close look at that. But I wanted to get started with a really relaxed, hey, what's up, take a look at me pose. And let's go ahead and look at the accessories that he comes with. All right, so starting off, he comes with a pair of additional hands. And they are grabbing or holding hands, I should say holding hands, for weapons or items or what have you, shields or whatever you want them to hold. Chains or whips or ropes or hands. Fist bumping, if you want to fist bump with these hands, you can fist bump. He also comes with these two swords, which I don't know the name for right now. I'll do an insert for that, but they're awesome, and they connect in the center, so you can make a longer staff style, and you can of course switch them around so they can alternate. So that's really cool. Or he can dual wield, which is really cool. Put them down. It comes with these adapters, which I believe are for wings. I'm not really sure. And I'm okay with not being sure about this right now because I haven't unboxed the god Arethyr yet, and he comes with wings. And I'm sure that he'll have these adapters, and I'll figure out how to use these things as soon as I unbox the god himself. And we also come with the belt strap. In terms of the hands, the alternate or new hands that he comes with, in this case, the one that he came out of the package with. And so technically, these are the alternate hands, but these are more traditional with the figures, and these are newer. So in terms of what they can do, since they're really not designed for holding on to the weapon that he came with. Well, actually, let me take a look at that before I say that. It holds it somewhat loosely. You know, so I mean, it's functional. It is functional, you know, from that position with this hand. But the hands themselves are more designed to be emotive and give you options for posing and setting up diorama and scenes for photos or videos. So our hands can hinge up and down like so, or in or out. So we've got like a Zen kind of like hand upward, hand downward pose. You know, we can reach up to the sky and ask, why? You know, so the hands are very emotive. And again, because there are so many points of articulation on these figures, you know, look at that. Just kind of like looking up.
know, like he's like he's talking to somebody on a balcony, or he's reading a poem to the moon. Very cool. So very emotive hands. Great articulation on the figure. Love the physique and the sculpt on the figure.
Belphegorr also comes with his pauldrons on his shoulders, which fit really, really snug, as you can see, with the neck harness that he has. This portion here, the pauldrons sit right on top of it, really snug. It is really tight and secure. Let's see how it affects his range of motion. It does limit his range of motion somewhat. But again, that isn't a problem with design or the toy itself. You know, the reality of it is a warrior wearing this kind of shoulder armor would have limited range of motion and restricted movement. That's just the reality of it. So I think that sometimes we have to make the distinction between articulation versus just the natural encumbrances that come with armor or weapons or even clothing. You know, that's like a really fine line when people are talking about articulation and not. This isn't a problem with articulation or design. It's a matter of he's wearing really bulky, heavy armor. And that is going to limit his movement. Anybody that plays RPGs knows this very much. But anyway, I digress. In addition to his shoulder pauldrons, which I'm going to remove right now, he has that neck armor piece that I was talking about, which looks really cool by itself just sitting on the figure. I'm going to go ahead and remove the head. Pops right off just so that I can remove this piece. It's a really cool bit of neck armor with, I guess, shoulder armor also. I'll put that over on the side. And this is our head sculpt for this really awesome, awesome figure. Look at his teeth. Look at that smile. He has a really large skull. It's got a nice like purple wash. This is an awesome head sculpt. Those eyes, see how they almost look like they kind of glow? Even as I point the light away from the eyes. It's really cool.
The figure itself feels really hefty. That's one thing that I love about Mythic Legion's figures. It feels really solid. Not necessarily heavy, you know, or brutish. The plastic does feel like a nice, fine plastic. It doesn't feel like a cheap plastic. The parts easily are removable for customizing. You can pop out the arms and the shoulders and the elbows and the wrists and the gauntlets. Everything comes off. The hooves at the ankle, at the knee, at the thigh, inside at the hip. You can even take the figure apart and do some pop and swap Lazy Boy customs. So they're great figures overall for collecting, and they really do present an aesthetic that is unique and has a lot of presence. You know, I mean, check this dude out. He's just mean, mean, mean. And I am really glad that I picked up an extra because he's just a cool dude to do some cool things with. Keep one as is, and then, you know, use one for some customizing and pictures and things like that. All right, let's do some posing. Let's do some pairing. Let's get some weapons in those hands, and let's see what we're working with. Got him in his, I don't know, his like karate ninja sword swinging stance. I'm a big fan of posing figures with the weapon being held down or in reverse, backhanded. I don't even know how to phrase that, but I'm a big fan of posing the weapon like that. with the blade pointing downward from the thumb or away from the thumb. So you might see that from time to time, or probably every single time. I am not going to use the weapon hands just for the sake of expediency, but look at how cool that looks. And again, for the sake of this video, I'm able to articulate the weapon in the hand that is open. So it just looks great. If you watch my videos, you know I'm a big fan of feet, hooves, wheels, rubber that meets the floor, or in this case, plastic. And you can see the hooves are absolutely flush. Look at how smooth and awesome this pose is. Holding his weapons, looking super tough, hooves flush on the mat. You know, you gotta love that kind of design and the aesthetic that it creates. Awesome. Let's look at some more poses. So here we've got our friend double wielding his swords in a very cool and very articulated and balanced pose. In his hakibadachi, his horse stance. For those of us that are familiar with the phrase. And he's ready to go, right? I mean, that is not somebody you want to reckon with. Let's see if we can play with the lighting a little bit. Very cool. All right, let's take another look at something else. Next pose, we see our friend Belphegorr working on his drunken monkey technique. Thanks to those really cool emotive hands, he is working his Jackie Chan drunken monkey technique. Very cool. Again, look at the balance, right? Look at the design and the engineering in the fig, how it's able to articulate, hooves flush on the mat. And, you know, he's just hanging out. He actually was hanging out and maybe had, you know, a few too many. And now he's doing his kata on the way home, you know? Absolutely. Love it. Next pose. After a long day of video shoots and photography, Belphegorr went to take a seat on an empty throne. I guess Conan was out taking care of some business. And he's just kind of sitting there, really contemplative like, thinking about what is best in life, you know? And as he looks up and asks Crom what is best in life, he rests his elbow on the armrest and looks up and asks Crom, why? Why, Crom? Why? And if Belphegorr is going to sit in Conan's throne while he's gone, well, by Jove. And let's see what Belphegorr has planned. We've got him in the iconic Conan pose, right? Because if you're going to go ahead and tread where Conan rests, you might as well just go ahead and finish burying yourself and pick up the Atlantean sword. This is called the iconic pose for a reason. You really don't have to say much else once you say that. But in the rare occasion that you might not know what the reference is to, the iconic pose is a reference to Conan and Conan the Barbarian. And we see here that our friend Belphegorr has absolutely no problem nailing the iconic pose. Check that out. You know what I mean? When you want to talk about articulation and just playing with action figures and setting up some really cool scenes and letting your imagination run wild, look at that, man. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. A little more lighting. Bam. Heck yes, Belphegorr is a badass dude. But let's see if we can turn him around. Give him a funny look. Whoops.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, Conan, how you like this?
Selfie. Boop. He's gonna put that up on the gram. All right, moving on. We're gonna get Belphegorr hanging over here. Bam, there we go. Bam. And we'll do a quick pairing with him and Darkness. Lord Darkness from the movie Legend. 80s classic movie. Just pair them up there together just because they are cool. Artistically, very nice. Nice little pairing there. And before we get going, just a few final still shots. That's going to wrap it up for Belphegorr Mythic Legions by the Four Horsemen. It is a joy to continue to share the experience of collecting toys as an adult. I hope you guys come back and we'll play with some more toys. Take care, everybody. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you can.